All right. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Welcome back, everyone, to another edition of Muzzy Buzz. This is a special live stream. It happened more randomly than it was, planned, but we kind of talked about it. But I have a special guest I'm going to be bringing on, and we're going to be talking about cryptocurrencies and how to get involved and how to get started. Because a lot of people have been requesting it and talking about it and even getting involved. So we thought, and we have conversations about this as well. So we thought it would be a great time to just do a live stream. So I'm going to bring my guest in, but before we do that, please make sure to smash that like button. It helps the algorithms. I don't really care about anything else, but it helps the video be seen. So make sure you guys go do that real quick. It takes you 5 seconds. So without further ado, let me bring in my co-host, my friend, my brother, none other than Noor. Assalamu alaikum, bro.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. What's happening?
Nothing much, man. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm good. It's nice to finally join you on the Muzzy Bus show.
Yeah, and it's kind of cool because it's kind of informal. It's not like a program show, and it's a little bit off the normal topic. So
yeah, it's not as serious. Although we did have fun in the Sunnah Discourse stream, the last one.
Yeah, everybody kept asking me, like, what was that one thing that Hassan said that got beeped out? Like, I can't.
I can't say.
I can't tell you guys, dude. But if you heard it, you probably would have been laughing 10 times harder than.
The funniest thing, Hassan messaged me. He's like, Ali, why would you censor that out? It's completely okay. I'm like, no, bro, you can't do that.
Like, he didn't even see a problem with it. Like, that's how much
That's Hassan. You have to filter him sometimes. He requires a little bit of censorship.
Yeah. I think you know what it is, that he's been doing it for so long that you kind of become desensitized to what is offensive and what's not. Right? Because it just happens, right? When you're so engaged in anything that you do, because you're automatically assuming that most people who are hearing it are in the same place you are, right? So you don't think that it's going to be, the same effect. But hold on, let me just see. Alaikum assalam to everyone joining in. So we have created this stream. It was actually a recommendation and an idea that Abu Noor thought about. You know what? Because we've been talking about crypto offline, like aside from all the other, DAO work and stuff like that. I think before we get into this, I think what we're going to do is probably just kind of give a background behind this. So I've always been entrepreneurial being young, and I'm always trying to find ways to be economically independent, to make sure my family's secure. And I'm a firm believer in the fact that for Muslims, especially in the West, it's very important to find a way to be economically independent, so you rely less and less on, especially non-Muslims, to provide you a source of income, especially in a growing world where you have political correctness, you have Islamophobia, you have just anti-Islamism on the rise, and just in a very basic sense, the idea that you want to be able to, do things that you want, like not work all Ramadan, wake up late because maybe you want to spend some extra time in a halaqah, whatever it may be, right? Or study further on. You need to have your finances in place, not to mention your family's responsibility. So that kind of led me to different investments and different things. I'm always trying to find ways to make money, and that put me on a path to cryptocurrency. So I don't know how we got started, but me and Ali were talking at some point, and I mentioned to him, or he might have mentioned to me, crypto, and I've mentioned to him that I've been involved with it. And it's just, from that point on, we just kind of, I think collectively both, we've done our homework on it, and I really feel like it's a solid investment. And so that's kind of how we got involved. So I'll let you go ahead and kind of maybe tell your story of where you're coming from, Ali.
Yeah, sure. So about 8 years ago, I had a bunch of friends that I met in Saudi Arabia. They were all from America. And it was around the time where a lot of my friends in the UK were involved in like these sham pyramid schemes, and they tried sucking me into them. And I was never interested. I'll just brush it aside. So when I had Americans talking about this new thing called Bitcoin that they're all investing in, I kind of just brushed it aside. And I would hear them talking about it, but I would never show any interest. I wish they did what Mort did to me a few months ago, which is basically pull me by the arm and say, Ali, you seriously need to look at this. You can make some serious money. Had those Americans done that to me then, I would have been a millionaire now, easily. I mean, 8 years ago, what was Bitcoin worth more?
I want to say something not more than $2,000.
Yeah. And now it's $60,000.
Yeah.
I mean, so these guys, I remember hearing them talk, they were saying, I own 10 Bitcoins, I own 8 Bitcoins. I was thinking about it, I'm like, these guys are all rich now.
Yeah.
So, and then obviously that was a long time ago, but more of a short-term thing. When Mort first started talking to me about this, I was somewhat hesitant. I'd be like, yeah, but how much is it worth? And where's it going? And this is when Bitcoin was at $30,000. And I'm like, it's so expensive. It's, it's going to drop and then it's never going to be that high again. And now it's at 60 and it looks like it's going in one direction, right? It might drop down into the 50s, but it looks like, it's going to hit 100K by the end of the year. So, and that's just with Bitcoin. And then with altcoins or some of the smaller coins, this is something that I've been successful in, specifically XRP. I don't know if Mort's dabbled in that yet.
So I have some, but unfortunately I have I cleared my position a while ago, and the platform I use has delisted or put a hold on XRP, so I have to use Femex and other things to do that. But yeah.
Right, yeah. And because it's so volatile and it wasn't worth much, it's worth $1 now. It's been like that for a few days. It was worth like cents. But it's recently shot up more than 100%. So there's a lot of money to be made. And I was just thinking that if there's anyone out there who's hesitant about investing in crypto, that was my motivation to doing this with Mort. I would just say, watch YouTube videos. This is basically what Mort did to me. He's like, Ali, this is what it is. This is what Bitcoin is. He gave me the lowdown, but then he said, you need to watch this YouTube channel and that YouTube channel and this YouTube channel. And just keep watching, do your research, and put in a little bit of money and just see where it goes. And that's what I would recommend to everyone. I want to help my brothers and sisters who are listening. I want you all to make money, like Mort was saying, outside of work. We just thought we'd do this. Maybe we could benefit some of the people listening. I'm far from being an expert in cryptocurrency. I'm definitely still a beginner. But I do feel like I'm getting the hold of it. I watch a lot of tutorial videos. And, there's that saying, when something's too good to be true, it probably isn't. But just in a couple of months, from what I've seen being involved in it, something being too good to be true, it is too good to be true. The money that you can make is ridiculous. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Like, especially with like XRP, there were days where like you just put in 1,000 dinars, which is like probably about $3,000. And you just leave it there.
Yeah.
And then after a few hours, it just randomly shoots up because it's so volatile. Of course, it can shoot down, but generally, if you see something's in an uptrend, or you're getting tips, or you're following experts, you just follow experts with that coin that you invest in. Do what they say, and more often than not, you can make a lot of money. So it was shooting up, at a time, 100%, 150%. This was a few months ago.
Yeah. But there was one thing that happened. So when I originally got involved with cryptocurrency, I saw that Bitcoin was like taking off. And at that time, when I say taking off, I mean like it was at $3,000 or $4,000, right? I'm like, oh man, it's too expensive, right? It went up too high. That's it. I missed my boat, right? That's what I thought. So I got into it by looking at Litecoin. So I originally got into cryptocurrency because I purchased Litecoin at like $8 or like $6, right? And alhamdulillah, I was able to liquidate a lot of it, or a good portion of it, when it was around like $300. So I knew that, and it was by chance, alhamdulillah. Like some of it, other ones I held on to too long, and I learned my lesson that, hey, you know what, when you hit new highs, you have to, dump some. But make a long story short, that's kind of what made me a believer in, in crypto. And here's what happened to me. so before it was just solely about making money. But the more, I don't know if this happened to you or not, maybe you can comment here, Noor, but my question is, the more I researched, like I became more and more convinced of the technology and the movement of like what it's doing. Like in the beginning, I know nothing about cryptology. I know nothing about blockchain. I'm in IT, but this is not my field. But when I started to understand why the technology is important, how it's revolutionizing the game, why it compares against fiat currency, and why people are excited, that made me like I was probably like at 100%, and then like I went to like 1,000%. So I don't know if that happened to you or not.
Again, I'm not into finance. That's not my background. When it comes to the technicalities of cryptocurrencies, I can't claim expertise in them. But when you see the biggest company in the world, Tesla, buy $1.5 billion worth of Bitcoin, it's like, what's going on here? If a huge company can purchase that, there must be something going on. And then you see how quick it's going up. You can see the direction it's going in. And the way I see it is, you can leave your money in the bank for 5 years. 5 years down the line, because of inflation, you'll have the same amount. Inshallah, you're staying away from interest. But it's worth less because of inflation. However, if you had that money and you just put it into Bitcoin, more likely than not, I mean, right now, Bitcoin's 60,000. If you guys revisit this video 5 years from now, I think easily 300,000 more.
I would choose over 500,000.
You think 500,000?
Over 500,000 in 5 years.
Just based on what it's done thus far.
The trajectory. And keep in mind, like we're looking at, I'm saying this because I'm based in charts, right? And like the way that and I don't want to get into the complexity of reading charts. And I had to kind of learn some of this because I learned some of it by watching videos and experts. So I've kind of got a little bit of understanding, but just the trajectory of Bitcoin, the way it's going, the percentages that it's rising. And that also coupled with the fact that it is a limited asset, meaning that we're almost going to be done mining the remaining less than a little under 3 million Bitcoins left. And when that happens, there's a true rarity of the currency in and of itself. So that coupled with the trajectory, it's going to be worth more. But I think some people are asking, like, what are the resources that we use? And I'll be honest. There's a couple channels that I gave. Ali, I gave him, there's a guy that I like. His name is MM Crypto, and there's a guy named the Moon _ Carl. Okay, they're actually both based in Dubai. Like they moved there eventually. I don't know if because they got money, but
what is that? Why do all these crypto YouTubers go to Dubai?
Because I think that you can. Live a good life. I mean, if you're from Europe and you're converting to $1, and then plus, I think Dubai is a crypto-friendly place. Meaning, in general, that they're not really regulating much over there for that, and you can, you can. I think you have a lot more mobility in Dubai than compared to other places. Like as far as like registering your taxes and bank accounts and whatever else, things like that, right? So, but those are the guys that I really looked at. But I also did, I'm on news.bitcoin.com. I read those news. I think for me, there's two theories here in terms of what makes a price go up. And I'm not saying which one is right or wrong, but one is the guy who's just strictly technical and analytical. And he, that person will just read charts, right? And, the other person is the guy that looks at the news and says, what are the events surrounding the coin or the technology that will cause the price to fluctuate? I tend to try to combine those two.
Right, same.
You know what I mean? And say, okay, there's a hope in here. And there's no guarantee, and so far, alhamdulillah, it's been well. Like, I think me and Ali listen to the same guy, but I don't take everything he says. Like naturally, some of these people are going to be for some clout. They're going to be wanting to get views on videos, right? You have to be a little bit smart to understand that, hey, you know what? There's going to be certain videos that come out, certain recommendations. But in general, what I would say is that a lot of these places, I think somebody had mentioned, Ali Abdullah mentioned here, JRNY is really good too. Sheldon Evans is really good too. BitBoy is also a good one. There's a few other ones I'm forgetting the names. I'm subscribed to them. I'll try to put them in the links when we get done. But you want to try to get as information as your friend. The more knowledge you have, the more of an informed decision you're going to make about what your next trade is going to be.
Right. Yeah, definitely. I think even at minimum, what you get from watching these channels is just you learn how to analyze the charts. I mean, even if they are incorrect, and the ones we mentioned are rarely incorrect, to be honest. Even if I was put off initially by some of their thumbnails and how they kind of sensationalize the content a little bit. But once you're involved in YouTube, you know that you got to do it, unfortunately, just to get the views. You know, they look shocked in all their thumbnails. Maybe we can do that for this video more.
Yeah, I know, right? Make a face. No, but yeah, unfortunately, but I mean, I look at the content, and there's also a guy named Da Vinci, which appears on them too. And Da Vinci actually is interesting because he originally actually tried to make the first Bitcoin before Bitcoin. And
really?
He's an OG in the whole thing. Like, and
I haven't watched his channel yet, but I've seen him. He's always with that Crypto guy.
So I found out about Crypto through Da Vinci, and Da Vinci was just a little too boring for me. I'm sorry, it's good content, but just a little too monotonous, and I need a little more oomph, you know, in my day, you know. But so here's the thing. By the way, for the halal and haram stuff, guys, I follow the opinion that it is halal. The ulama, all of them that I've spoken to, have said it's halal. But I'm not going to give a fatwa here.
That's what I was going to add. If you're looking for a fatwa, not here, man.
Yeah,
guys, these questions about what is halal and haram, ask a scholar.
Yeah.
Someone like Joe Bradford, he's written about it. So if you check out his website, follow him on Twitter, you can find more information. Like Mort was saying, some have kind of like, because they don't know what it is, they're kind of just staying away from commenting on it. Based on what I've seen, scholars who've done research into the field don't have an issue with it. But still, once you are involved in it, there are certain limits. There are things that you can fall into that are definitely haram. So it's worth, looking it up. But you really shouldn't be just going on random YouTube channels and asking for fatwas. You know.
Yeah. I'm not sheikh. So like I said, I was gonna say, just go to a local sheikh that you trust and ask him. If you trust their verdict and judgment, then take that. Inshallah, there's no blame on you if you do that. But for me, the person that I follow and the people that I consult, there's no issue for me investing into Bitcoin. That being said, there are certain programs which I know of that can make your money haram. Like they do require, they accept interest, and also investing in technologies that where the blockchain is being used for wrong purposes. That could be it could be pornography, or it could be for the facilitating of interest loans, or things like that. You have to be careful about. But the good thing is that most of those are altcoins, so you're not going to find that on Ethereum and Bitcoin and Cardano and what is Litecoin and Filecoin, all these. There's so many coins, thousands of them, right? So I think, Ali, maybe we can kind of segue a little bit into, because people here are talking about Bitcoin alone. And we mentioned XRP, and someone mentioned Ethereum, right? So maybe we can talk about some of the altcoins for a bit, and maybe they are. So just your thoughts on altcoins in general. So far, what you've learned so far, what is your, what are altcoins to you? And how
So for me, what you have online, like if you join the whole crypto wars that you find on social media, people are extremely loyal to a currency. They really believe in it. I don't care about any of them, to be honest. I just want to make money. So if you've got that mindset, it seems like there's two groups. Some people see putting their money in Bitcoin and leaving it there, and then once in a while taking some money out, put it in altcoins, and I think that's generally what Mort does. I've found making a lot of money in a short period by just putting it into altcoins is a better strategy for me. Also because I'm limited with the altcoins that I can purchase, because I'm using an app called Rain, which is basically something approved by official banks in Bahrain. And they only allow you to invest in 4 coins that they've approved. So alhamdulillah, it's safe in terms of that side of things. I know with some of the other apps, like if you get hacked and you lose everything, you lose everything. because this is something that's a banking program, I'm protected on that level, which is good. I don't know if there's anything like that exists in the West. Mort?
I'm not sure of any platforms that would guarantee money like a bank, but personally, I have Coinbase. I use Coinbase Pro. I use Femix. I used to have Bittrex and Binance, but living in New York at that time, they made me shut it down. They had some regulations, but now being back in Chicago, I'll probably go ahead and try to get back into them. But just to be very clear, known platforms like Coinbase, stuff like that, and Binance, they're very secure. They have even cold storages available internally for your currency. So the only way that you're probably going to get hacked is if you leave your password lying around, right? And someone knows you and has access to your account information. But from the outside coming in, it's very unlikely that they would just be able to hack and do that. And that's one of the reasons. But real quickly, though, what are those 4 currencies? I'm assuming Bitcoin, Ethereum, Ripple.
Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, and XRP, which is my current favorite.
Okay, yes.
It looks like, so for those who have been following what's going on regarding XRP, so the company that created XRP, Ripple, has been taken to court by the SEC because they claim it's not a currency, it's a security. However, it was looking like XRP was going to lose and the value dropped really, really low. However, recently, if you follow the news, some interesting things have been coming out of that in court. Forbes published a really interesting article, I think it was like early today or last night, which basically said that it's almost as if the case is being flipped onto the SEC for bullying others and being hypocrites and not, being fair, excusing Ethereum and Bitcoin, but picking on Ripple for some reason. So it's quite interesting. And after that news, it looks like XRP might even win the case. They won't even have to settle. And if that happens, it's going to go really, really high. And there's a lot of money to be made.
Yeah. So just to recap, because some people are wondering, what are altcoins? Altcoins are basically any coin except Bitcoin. Like Bitcoin is the mother lode, right? And that's like the gold standard. Then there are top level altcoins. There are low level altcoins. Top level altcoins are things like Ethereum, Cardano, XRP, Litecoin, Filecoin, blah blah blah. There's so many of them up top. Right. And there's a lot of unknown ones. There's thousands of coins, guys, thousands of altcoins. The biggest thing is that, so I'll tell you something very interesting. I got involved with Ripple when it was 4 cents. And at one point I had more than $30,000 of Ripple. Okay. And I got rid of it somewhere around like 40 cents, like majority of the position. But I should have held on to it. But my reason at that time was not for the SEC stuff. I knew that came later on, but I knew that they would win that because there's no way you can consider it to be a security. It's not, it's just some kind of, someone in Ripple pissed off somebody in the government level. I think that's what happened. But long story short, like Noor mentioned, that they're going to win this case. And we're already seeing the effects of that news out right now. And that's why the price is going up. Ripple, what's interesting about Ripple is that, and I think what people who are been crypto enthusiasts for a while, their issue with Ripple is this. There are significant stakeholders that are government agencies. Like, for example, there's a big investment by the government of Dubai or the UAE, involvement in this currency. And that makes people who are hardcore crypto fanatics, who are, you get away from central banks, no government control, they are wary of Ripple. But I think where Ripple really shines is that Ripple is great for bank-to-bank transfers. And they were one of the first companies or groups, developers, to do a test where they were able to transfer money from Zurich all the way to San Francisco. And they got money there within a fraction of a second, which is amazing, right? And the other thing is that why is it important? Well, in the banking world, it's very important because anybody here that has sent money overseas to people, right, will understand that number one, there's a delay. It doesn't happen instantaneously. Nowadays with apps, you have Cash App and things like that. Yes, that's true. But with banks, traditionally you have limitations on those kind of apps, right? Or unless you go to Western Union or whatever, you have limitations on how much money you can send, and it causes red flags. People generally who are doing steady bank transfer or money transfers, they prefer banks because it's paper trailed and everything. The problem with this is that banks were charging ridiculous fees. Every transfer in America was like anywhere from $30 to $60, depending on what you're doing. And you come to find out that these are just literally paying for messages of preparedness and understanding and ready to receive. Like there's signals. You're paying someone just to communicate, because all those being all done digitally. At one point, it had to be done, in some way, not electronically, and that would cost time and money. But we still continue those fees in the digital age, and it makes no sense. And now you can transfer money in a blink of an eye, with no communication between bankers and no fees. It's great. And that's what makes Ripple really a kind of an amazing technology at that point. Do I think Ripple is the only one that has that technology right now? No, but they're certainly one of the first. And as we've seen before in this game, first come, first serve. Like they're the ones that usually stick around, right? They're the ones, I'm not saying it can't be improved or other technologies can't do it better, but what I'm saying is that they kind of have a proven track record. That they have developers behind them. They have, significant investments behind them, and you can't ignore that. Just one quick thing, Bruno. Someone had said that. I think it was Henry. What do you say here? Yeah, he says, Fatima, I heard that Ethereum sadly has riba being part of a coin. Allah Alam. I didn't look into itself, but okay. So Ethereum in itself does not control the selling or the buying. Ethereum is a coin, yes, but it's a platform also. A lot of these altcoins are based on the Ethereum platform in which they develop. So Ethereum in itself does not act as a bank, nor it's a technology. It's a blockchain technology. And it does have a coin, but the coin in and of itself has no affiliation with any lending or banks or staking. They have staking now with the Ethereum 2.0 coming out, but staking does not mean interest in this case. Staking, they call it interest, but it's not the way riba that we understand it. Staking means that you're willing to put your coin as collateral, and in return for them using your coin to, as testing and things like that, you're compensated for that. So it's not actually that you're being paid interest. I'm not saying all staking is that way, but majority of staking that I've seen is this way. So just to clarify that.
Cool. Going back to what you were saying about Ripple and XRP, in terms of what's happened over the last few days, has been a huge vote of confidence in the currency because of this case has really hurt it. However, it's almost as if there was no case based on the rise in the last few days. I think it's over 100%. Now, there is, I think he's probably the biggest crypto YouTuber, BitBoy. Is he the biggest?
One of the biggest, yeah.
He's one of the biggest. He's the biggest on TikTok, I hear. He's good. I've been watching him. But I remember the first video I watched of him, he was trashing XRP. Like when someone mentioned XRP, he would snigger. Because obviously it's been unlisted on, in platforms in America, people just can't buy into it. You have to, there is a workaround. I think Moore mentioned it. Yeah. So I kind of brushed it aside. I'm like, okay, maybe because, these guys can't buy into it. They're kind of hating on it a little bit. People in other parts of the world are all investing in it and have been making some good money. However, today, a couple of days ago, he made a video apologizing to everyone, saying, I'm sorry, I was wrong about XRP. And today he released another video. Do check it out on his channel, where he basically said he's doing a complete U-turn and he himself is going to invest in XRP. And he's really enthusiastic about it. So keep an eye out on these channels. Like I said, I don't want this video just to be us having a conversation. I hope some of you guys who are beginners, much like myself, can benefit from this and maybe just watch these videos. So subscribe to MM Crypto, subscribe to BitBoy, subscribe to yours. get like $100 or £100, put it into a coin that they recommend, and just see where it goes. Just to kind of get into it, start learning about the charts, because I feel like there's a lot of money to be made, and honestly, it does feel like it's too good to be true. Honestly, guys, that's my motivation for doing this video. Like I said, I just want my brothers and sisters to benefit, to make some money, inshallah. And if you do remember me in your du'as.
And as well. Sunni defense, Sunnah discourse, that's what you call it. Yeah.
So yeah, it's like, honest, I think back to those Americans. I'm like, why didn't they just grab me and say, Ali, you need to do A, B, C, D? But they just weren't like that. That's not part of their personality. But good brother Mort has seen something good for himself. He's like, Ali, you seriously need to look into this. And I was bugging him quite a bit. I had a few questions, but he held my hand, and it's like, do this, do that, do this, do that. And you start getting into it. And that's what I'm trying to do now with you guys. I know, we're not explaining everything here. This isn't like a tutorial for getting into crypto. However, if you guys if you're serious about getting into it and you do want some help, I can teach you the basics. Hit me up on Twitter at @boo_Noor89, and I can at least do for you what Mort did for me.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm always open. I'm always willing to have a conversation about it. But the reason why I'm kind of reluctant around is because I don't want to be that guy that's like running a pyramid scam that's just forcing people to do something. I can give little bits and gems, right? And if somebody wants to take it, what's working for me, it's good. But I think what I wanted to talk about was this, and I think this is kind of something I think a lot of people will struggle with. Where do I start? Like, okay, I got a platform. I got an account linked up, right? What do I do? How much do I put in? It's so expensive. And I think this is some of the stuff that Ali was concerned about too. And I told him, listen, bro, step by step. This is not something where you're going to get money overnight. Like as much as there is the potential to make that kind of money overnight, that shouldn't be your investment strategy. Your investment strategy should be, over time, I'm going to be putting in money into a technology that is going to be here in the future and going to have a place in the future, and I'm investing in my future. So my goal is that by 5 years from now, I should be now paying attention to my portfolio. And the thing is that, like, some people, they get confused because they will see a sharp rise in the first time. Maybe they got lucky. They put the money in right then, and you see this huge rise up. Like, every time it's going to be like this. Or if it dips down, they start panicking, they start selling. That's not the way this works. This is something where the market has cycles. Any market, stock market, any investment, even business. There are things that, some sales months are great, some are not that great. But you look at the overall average. And if you look at the overall average of Bitcoin over the last years, it's been over 27%, right? I mean, and that's hard for any investment. When you say an ROI of 27%, that's pretty damn good, right? I mean, just to give you an idea, with property, a lot of people say property. I own some property. If you have an ROI of anything, above 8% or 7% in property, you're doing phenomenal, right? I mean, like, you're just doing great. You know what I mean? And this is a thing. But again, my strategy, what I would say is, and by the way, we're not financial advisors, so don't. This is just friendly advice on how to get started in crypto. Not that you should be, we don't advise, anyone to, want advisors here. It's just what we've done. And if you can, it's a friendly conversation. But the thing is, you should exercise caution. It is an investment, like anything, right? But so only invest. This is what I did. I only invest what I could lose. And if that means $100 or $100 million, that depends on you. But that way, you're not stressing about it. Right? Don't use your lunch money for any kind of investment. don't use your mortgage money for any kind of investment, or rent money, whatever it is. Be smart. Common sense approach. There's nothing as getting rich overnight. If it happens, alhamdulillah, it happens. Allah let that happen. But the general feeling here is that, or the strategy is that, you're gonna have to take some time. And so I think we lost Ali, but I think we'll just wait for him to get back in. You might need to rejoin in, Ali. I think your internet kind of got a little shy there. But my thing is, take your time. Don't expect to be a millionaire overnight. Think long term. That's what I do. And then, start off with money that you don't feel too concerned with. Okay. All right. So that's, I think Ali's battery died, so he's gonna plug a charger and then jump back in. But anyways, so my advice would be that take your time, do your research, start off with the money that you can, essentially, I don't want to say lose, but you wouldn't hurt yourself if you lost that money, right? Because some people unfortunately go crazy where they start investing like on credit cards, and they start doing loans and borrowing money from people, thinking that, oh, it's going to go up. For sure it's going to go up. Like they're listening to me and Ali maybe sometimes on Twitter, and they're saying, oh, Bitcoin's going to be $100,000 by the end of the year, I'll pay you back in a year. Don't do that, right? Invest slowly. Another thing I want to remind you of is there's something called DOA or DCA, dollar cost averaging. There are companies like Swan Bitcoin that you commit like, let's say $100 a month, and they take $25 a week, and they will do the optimal times of buying. So you basically get the most amount of Bitcoins, dollar for Bitcoin. Basically, you get the most purchase you could possibly get because they know the perfect timings to buy, how to trade up, and they do all that in the back end. So dollar cost averaging in terms of buying Bitcoin will get you the most in terms of that. And the final thing I want to say is don't feel bad if you don't own a whole Bitcoin. So if you have one Bitcoin, even back, I'm talking about when Bitcoin was $2,000, from that time. If you have just one Bitcoin, you're in the top 1% of the Bitcoin world. Most people do not own a Bitcoin, but they own fractions of Bitcoins. Fractional ownership is still ownership. I think do you remember that one thing I told you, Ali? I said at that time when we were talking, if you own 0.01 Bitcoin today, in 10 years, you'll be fine. You will have retire early kind of money. And I still maintain that. I believe if you have 0.01 today, which would probably equate to about $6,000 or something like that, I could be a little bit off there, but it doesn't have to be all right away, but you can definitely build up right now. And right now, the reason why I believe I'm doing that is because I think after this year, after the next couple of months, we're never going to see Bitcoin below $100,000. I think I would say maybe in a few months. I'm not sure when, but I don't believe we'll see that there. And then you're going to look back and say, man, 50,000 was cheap for a fraction. I'd pay 10,000 for a quarter of a Bitcoin. I'd pay that. It jumped 200%, or in 2 years, whatever, right? Like, I mean, just for example, when I thought Bitcoin was too expensive at $3,000, and I'm looking at it now and say $60,000. Yeah, I should have bought it at that time. It wasn't that expensive at all. It was very cheap. You know what I mean? And I think that's what I wanted to communicate to you guys. Don't worry about the amount of Bitcoins, or start somewhere, but start small and steady.
And if it drops a little bit, don't panic and sell.
Yeah.
Something interesting happened to me with XRP a couple of months ago when it was only like 20 cents. My cousin called me. She also invests. She's in Bahrain, and she's like, Ali, it's shooting up. Now's the right time. And I kind of panic bought, and I put in 2,000 dinars, which is maybe like $6,000. And as soon as I purchased it, it shot down, and I was panicking. I'm like, shall I sell it? And my wife's like, no, don't. Just wait. And it turned out to be a really cheap buy because recently it went to $1. So you can see that money has turned over quite a bit. So just the other day, like 2 days ago, I bought at $1. And it kind of stayed at $1. It went down to like 90 cents, and now it's like going back up to $1. At the start of this stream, it was at $1. I'm staring at it, and now it's at $1.03. So it's up 3%. If you put in a big amount, and that's nothing, like every day it's fluctuating 10%, 15%. So you potentially could make a lot of money. If you put a lot of money into one of these coins that's, doing really, really well right now, it's extremely bullish. You can make money in minutes. Like I know Mort was saying, don't expect to make a lot of money right away. What I'm saying is, someone asked, I put it on screen, which coins again? Bitcoin, Ethereum, if you want to play it safe. Something like XRP, just because it's exciting right now. Don't put your life savings into it. Like I said, put $100 and just see where it goes over the next couple of days. Yeah.
Do you remember I told you, Ali, I said, listen, my strategy is 80% Bitcoin, 20% altcoins. So
Yeah.
whatever you choose, like 20%, play around with it. You want to have fun with, in that case, it'd be $200 on 1,000 euros. Put that in the XRP. If it doesn't do well, transfer to another coin. Those are options, but don't miss out. My point is that don't miss out on buying Bitcoin at a cheap price. Like right now, under $100,000 is cheap for Bitcoin. You're gonna tell your kids and your grandkids that I got Bitcoin for when it was $30,000 or $50,000, right? Like they're gonna be, what? Like these things gonna be worth $1 million at some point, right? Like it's just the potential is. Like, I'm trying not to sound like I'm super excited, but I'm a believer in Bitcoin. Like I study the technology. I've been involved with it for since 2017. So I'm invested into it and I read about it. I'm passionate about it, but I don't want my excitement to make you go put all this money into it. It's still an investment. You have to be smart. You have to be sensible in this. But so that's why I say there's also money to be made in altcoins, like Ali said. So what's the strategy? Mine is 80%, 20%. You can come up with something 60-40, 50-50, but diversification is also important. Right? I mean, you can't just rely in business. They always tell you diversify. Don't always you can't put your eggs in one basket, so to speak. Right? So
what I would say is some great advice someone gave me was make your money back, and then you can take more risks because you make your money back. You're not losing anything anymore. Right. So that's what I would recommend. Put some money into play it safe, see where it goes. Right now, it is altcoin season. April traditionally, is when altcoins do really well. I'm investing, as I said, in XRP. I got more to buy into. What did I get you to buy into the other day? Was it Ethereum?
So
I got more to buy into Ethereum. I bought into it with him, and then I didn't tell more, but I pulled out and I put it all into XRP. So let's see.
Yeah, no, I mean, I remember he told me about the signal because I know he's watching him too. So I'm like, I trust the guy he's watching. So I'm like, okay, I pulled the trigger on $4,000. But the thing is that I've gotten to a point now where what I'm investing now is all from profits. So if it all goes to crap, I don't feel bad, because I've made my money on it, right? Like kind of for the most part. Now it's like, it is up to Allah to give my rizq and to make us, sensible decisions, right? So that is the issue. So Nafis asked an interesting question. He says, but Bitcoin has no potential of use other than just like speculation tool. You can do smart contract, Ethereum, blockchain, other thing. So again, here's the utility of Bitcoin is not what's making Bitcoin famous, and what the problem is that it is the gold standard of cryptocurrencies, right? That is what it has become, the gold of it. So regardless of what, I mean, people have made, Bitcoin Cash, Bitcoin 2.0, Bitcoin Wrapper, so many different things, but the original Bitcoin in and of itself has addressed so many problems that as far as logistics and trading and updating, meaning as far as the ledgers, that other cryptocurrencies have not had to deal with. It's tried and tested. That is the rigidness of Bitcoin. They've thrown everything at it, and yet it continues to still be to be able to withstand all of the different measures of tests that they put against it. Many other altcoins are coming out in spin-offs because developers have issues that have differences of how to resolve a development issue or encountering a problem, and thus so far Bitcoin has been able to remain perfectly fine the way it's been created from day one, from the original white paper. It hasn't changed from 2011 and 9. I mean that time. So for me, just it being of gold standard is how I look at it. I don't believe that we'll be trading it, we'll be buying goods in Bitcoin, but Bitcoin things will be, I think cryptocurrencies will be pegged to Bitcoin. It'll be a stored asset and stored value, and it will be pegged to Bitcoin, and we'll be transacting in currencies like Litecoin, Ripple, Cardano, Ethereum network things, but I mean, that's why I'm heavily involved with Bitcoin. All right. Yes, the other thing is also, you touched on it too, Ali, is that paper hands and diamond hands, right? You got to have diamond hands. You can't have paper hands where you see a little fluctuation, you're like, oh my God, I'm dumping everything. Because what you're going to end up happening is you're going to be the guy that buys high, sells low. Don't be that guy, okay? You're going to lose money. If you don't know how to trade, don't trade. Okay, trading
That's
is
pretty much how the whole crypto market fluctuates. It's because of people's emotions, you
yes.
know. And then the people who are just cold and they've got a strategy and they stick to it, those are the people who do really, really well. So don't lose sleep. Even if you put in money and it just drops straight away, if you're following what one of these experts has recommended, you should be okay. I mean, if you follow someone like Carl the Moon, the guy's making a lot of money, and he's always right. Like I've been watching him now for every day. He releases like 2 videos, and I haven't seen him be wrong even once.
And also,
If you read the comments, it's become a joke how often he is correct. So you can play it safe and just follow what these guys do in Bitcoin. So the profit that you can make in Bitcoin, because he's trading, he's not really investing. Like he's buying and selling, buying and selling, buying when it's up, selling when it's low. But if you do that with large amounts, you can be pretty successful. In terms of like what Mort's more into, investing in the long term, I recommend doing both. So like I'm not keeping any money in the bank anymore. I just put it into Bitcoin because it's safe. Since it's altcoin season, I've sold that right before Bitcoin dropped a little bit, and I've put it into altcoins. But my plan is to make money on altcoins and then put it back into Bitcoin and just leave it there.
it's like a cycle, right? Where like altcoins do well, Bitcoin dips a little bit. Bitcoin does well, altcoins dip. So my Coinbase, I don't have any fee to transfer between currencies, so I just keep bouncing around. And so I make money here, make a little money there. Where can I buy crypto? That depends largely on the country you're in. I don't know if you're in America, Britain, Middle East, wherever you are, but it certainly depends on your local authority. If you're in the Middle East, I think there's Rain, there is BitOasis, and I don't know if there's another company there yet now. But using a VPN, you can use the trading platforms like Femex and things like that, Bybit. But in America, you can use, there's tons of options. The ones I use is, I have Coinbase. There's also platforms like Binance and Bittrex, I think is still around, Gemini. There are a lot of platforms here that you can use. And Voyager, thank you, Nafis. Voyager is also a great, I haven't used it personally, but I've heard good things about Voyager. In Germany, you should be fine to use Coinbase, but Coinbase fees are expensive. I will say that much. But Tom Hanks, I'm gonna call you Tom Hanks. I think Tom Hanks is like really Tom Hanks, right? So I'm gonna just call you Tom Hanks. But if you have Coinbase, you can use Coinbase Pro, and the fees on Coinbase Pro are much cheaper. So that's what I do. I transfer, and you can buy altcoins on Coinbase Pro. And if you have a Coinbase account, it automatically gets created in Coinbase Pro. However, the deposit accounts are different. So what you have available on Coinbase, as far as like, you won't have the same balance, but you can instantly bring in currency or value from your Coinbase vault or your wallets and instantly transfer to your Coinbase Pro, and you can trade there, and the fees are much less. I know Femex is, I think you can buy there. I'm not sure, I haven't tried it, but if you pay $74 for the year, you have spot pricing with no fees and trading with no fees. So it's also a good thing to look at. I know we should have probably set up an affiliate link, Ali, and put it all down so we get some money from this. But there are Femex.com is probably where you can go to and check it out. It's relatively easy to do for. Yes, and also my suggestion is be wary of like apps that do 2 things, like Robinhood and SoFi, like where like you can do stocks and crypto. Like it's just I'm not saying they're bad. I don't have experience with them. I have those apps. I don't use them for crypto, but I don't feel like mixing my stock portfolios with crypto like stuff. I want to keep it separate. But I'm not saying you can't, but that is an option as well too. So if you're invested in the stock market, like you're using something like a Robinhood, you can definitely buy currencies there. I'm just scared because of things that, for example, that Robinhood do with trading, right? What if they decide to do something executively for your crypto? Oh, that is another great point. Thank you, Nafis. I wasn't sure about this or not, but this is one of my concerns. You don't own your own crypto. So someone's holding it into their wallet. And if they decide that, for example, that they need to halt trading for a day, because they need to, meet some obligations. Well, there goes your ability to trade your crypto and make money off of it. So those things kind of make me nervous. But if you're thinking long term and you want to just hold it a little bit here and there and try it out, you can get started on these platforms just to try it out and see what it's like, owning a Bitcoin and that kind of stuff. But eventually think about using more versatile platforms that will help you maximize, the ability to make profits.
Yeah, to take it easy. Put in a little bit of money at first, just to kind of get a feel for things, see where that goes. A lot of these platforms that allow you to invest can get quite complicated and can look quite scary because there's so many options. Many of them have light versions that just make things really, really simple. So I know Binance has a light version, super simple, really easy to buy and sell. So maybe start with that. Just watch videos. Watch videos like I was going on just yesterday. I was watching all these tutorial videos on how to read the charts, how to read the candlesticks, and you don't have to know all of this. It's wise to, if you want to get serious about this long term. But I've made money without knowing anything, just by following tips from Mort and some YouTubers and some people on Twitter. So when it comes to XRP, I follow one guy. He tweets in Arabic, but he's always had a lot of confidence in XRP. Let me just find his name.
So let me tell you a funny story while you look for that. So I had this cousin of mine from Saudi Arabia, and 2 years ago, Hisham, if you're listening, Hisham, I'm outing you. He's like, hey, listen, bro, I want some crypto. I want XRP. He's been reading about it. But at that time, there were no exchanges that you could open over there at that time, like 2-3 years ago. So I literally brought, it's Ahmed XRP. That's the guy on Twitter. So make sure you guys,
that's the guy I was talking about.
I'm gonna subscribe to him, by the way. Anyways, so I literally purchased like $40,000 of XRP for him at 20 cents or 19 cents. And I just transferred to his cold wallet, and he still has it today. And props to him, throughout all the volatility over the last 2 years. I mean, it going all the way up to like 55 cents, dropping back down to like 20 cents, 19 cents. He never once wanted to sell it. He's like, no, I believe in it. I read about it. That convinced me. Technology convinced me. And he texted me a couple days ago with the price hitting over, I think, like a certain amount. I forgot what it was. And there's a certain emoji where it's like a smirking face, like that. Like I told you, kind of thing, right? But that's my point. Like, not like it took 2 years, but it's passive money. Like, he bought $40,000 of XRP at 20 cents a piece, roughly average, right? Imagine that's close to $1 right now. So just do the math, right? Like, what kind of gains you're talking about. But that leads me to my final point about this is the one thing I wish I knew about crypto when I got in was that you got to have thick skin. You got to be emotionally strong. Don't make emotional decisions in terms of trading and buying and selling. I believe investing in business in itself, it's like half of that. It's the challenge in of itself is emotional. Like, what do I do? Do I give up? Do I do this? Do I panic? Am I going to lose everything? You have to stay the course. You have a plan. And the reason why it is easier for me to say this is because I kind of studied after I got involved over the hype of Bitcoin. I studied Bitcoin. I believe in it and cryptocurrency in general. So I know in the future it's going to be there. So for me, it's like more of a thing where, okay, my vision is long term. So stay the course. Don't panic. I don't care if when the market goes down, there's blood in the street, I'm buying it up. I always tell Ali that when there's blood, if you smell blood, buy. Because that's when that's how the market makes money. When actually in March of 2020, when Bitcoin hit a low of like $4,800, I'm sorry, I purchased a bunch. I'm like, yeah, that's the time to buy. And alhamdulillah now with like, just not even a year later, right now we're coming in right now, just a year later in March, it's just from $4,800 to $60,000. Just do the math, right? Stay the course. Have a goal and let that be your navigator, your North Star. Don't let your emotions be your North Star. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Hello, Maliki Click. Welcome. Ahlan ya Abu Yaman.
Maliki.
Yeah.
Maliki's vanished from Twitter, hasn't he? I've
Is
noticed. Yeah, has he? I don't know. He's not tweeting anymore.
Don't tell me
Where
that.
you gone, bro? You got to come back, man. We miss you.
Yeah. I hope he didn't get banned. Maybe he's been busy. I know he got married recently, mashallah. So maybe he's been busy, you know. Ideally, you should be investing during the bear market. Yeah,
Exactly.
absolutely, Tugi. Absolutely. Let me just highlight that. Bear markets are great times for people to buy. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? So, Salam, we love you more. We love you too, brother Thanos Bay. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, give you more than what he gives me, inshallah. Allahumma ameen. I went off Ikhwan. You went off on the Ikhwan or you went off of Twitter, Ikhwan? Me there, bro.
Yeah, I think he's gone off Twitter.
Oh, well, that's good, man. I mean, I've been on Clubhouse recently, Ali. I've been telling you this, right? And it's like Twitter.
You're having fun there with.
Yeah, it's like Twitter 20. Like it's like Twitter with voice. Like and with tweets being like yelled at you in a room. Like
yeah, Moore got me to join. I jumped onto Clubhouse, and then within seconds, I was like, "Are you Noor?" I'm like, "Who are you, man?" And like, people are just talking to you. It was some Somali brother from Minnesota. It was nice talking to him.
Oh my God, it's so crazy, man.
Yeah, it's not for me, man. I feel like people are just there, just debate for the sake of debate. You know, they're bored.
Yeah. But I'm going to tell you this much though. For some of our upcoming videos, there's going to be some interesting screenshots of room titles and names that we're going to be.
Yeah, I saw one that people were speaking about it on Twitter. What was it? Something to do with white converts.
Yeah, but not only that, I'm talking about like, oh my God, there's just so many of them. Like, help me find a way to normalize muta or something like that. Like it's stuff like this. And one of the craziest rooms.
You've been in and out of the Shia Clubhouse chat rooms, haven't you?
Yeah, and the funniest thing is the funniest and the stupidest room was. So I'll just a little bit off topic, but since we're talking about this, the name was why Imam Ali alayhi salam is better than Ibrahim alayhi salam. Oh no, why the Imams alayhi salam are better than
the prophets, right?
Yeah, or Ali, basically. Ibrahim alayhi salam. So I get it, like, you see, the Imams have Imamiyah, right? Like, that's a level above Nabuwah. They have Imamiyah. And like, what's your proof of that? So he quotes a verse in the Quran talking about making Anbiya Imam, right? The ayah about making them Imams. So I'm like, wait, you just admitted that Ibrahim alayhi salam was also a Nabi and an Imam. So isn't Ibrahim alayhi salam better than Ali because he's an Imam and a Nabi? Like he has wahi, right? By your logic. So he's actually an Imam too, right? He's like, yeah, bro, but the title just clickbait. I'm like, no, bro, you actually made it. Like, what are you talking about? Like, he was like, he tried to like squeeze a lot of it by saying that it was just clickbait titles. After he lost,
no, that's not clickbait for them. They believe the Imams are greater than them.
Yeah, but that's for a different time. Well, I've learned a lot about Shia is from your brothers. Yeah. Well, not from me. That's from Ali and Hassan and the whole Sunnah Discourse team, and those guys are on top of it. I wish you guys could see some of the stuff that they talk about in the private, conversations. The amount of information is massive, and inshallah, we're going to be, hopefully, we hope to do some more stuff very, very soon because, I think at least I have more time. So hopefully, I'm trying to get Hassan to agree on a schedule so we can kind of get something more regular, inshallah. But there's a lot more stuff that we have to talk about. So much more stuff. Like that's just getting wackier and wackier. It's just.
I think there's a really good chemistry between you and Hassan.
Yeah. He gets excited.
Him ranting, him doing all the talking, and then you just throwing in comments here and there, and just prodding him, getting him to react to stuff.
The thing is, I enjoy listening to him talk. So for me, I feel like I don't have to talk. I can just listen. I feel like I'm one of the audiences.
Us, and everyone in the audience, they're just there for Hassan.
Yeah, pretty much. And I recognize that. Hassan is a, mashallah, tabarakallah, he's a character of his own, man. And you can tell why they're so annoyed with him. But more on that later, inshallah.
Funniest brother I know, hands down.
Oh, yeah. And he's sincere. That's the good thing, mashallah. Yeah. Keep him that way. Like, he genuinely wants good for people. Like, he's willing to admit any mistakes he has, which is very rare in today's time.
People don't realize that that's his personality. They feel like when he speaks, there's a lot of hatred towards the Shia. It's just he's passionate. That's how he talks, and he's extremely blunt. He does it to me. Like I remember once he's like, Noor, we need a new logo. This is like 2-3 years ago. So I'm like, okay, cool. I'm going to order a logo. So I paid out of my own pocket for a logo, and I was really excited to share it with the team. And I shared it in the WhatsApp group, and Hassan's reaction was, "What the hell is this? This is terrible. This is rubbish." And I was slightly upset about it. I've put effort into it. I've contacted someone. I've worked with the designer, and that's just Hassan. He's just blunt. He's like that with everyone.
Yeah,
it's not. It's not him just picking on the shit.
Yeah, he's like I have a cousin of mine. Like he's like who used to. I don't know if he still is, but he's like an HT member. But he's hardcore like that about Khilafah. Like if you're against the Khilafah, like he's just like. I mean, he's very passionate, but he actually. But I'll tell you something. He's actually one of the few guys I respect in that movement, because a lot of people in that movement, they just are about words, like just talking the talk, but not walking the walk. Man, my cousin, mashallah, tabarakallah, he walks the walk. Like he goes around to Syria, he donates blankets. Like from America, he does all this stuff. He goes to like Somalia, he goes around like really, and he gets really passionate about people are starving in the ummah. How can you buy? Like I mean, like buying something. How did you buy that? People are starving. Like he just, but I feel like if you're not like if you don't understand him, you think he's being rude, and like you think he's being like upset with you. But he's just passionate about what he believes in, and it comes off. Some people are just that way. So to all those people out there, don't think that Hassan is intentionally trying to offend the Shia. He doesn't. I mean, maybe sometimes he is, but majority, like 90% of the time, he's not. Like he's trying to make them think, right? And that's why you find Ali always making a disclaimer: "Hey, not all the Shias. We want to have a discourse. We even changed the name because we don't want to make you feel like that we hate you people. We're willing to talk to people that are willing to listen. We want to talk to the good people and not alienate those people that actually are willing to have a dialogue and a conversation." So it's not Hassan's intention. So that's it.
Yeah. More looks like Sim. He does. For some reason, what you've called yourself Sim. Yeah, you've got the Sim name there.
Oh wow, I didn't even know. Like wow, that's surprising. Wow. Maybe because the angle I'm at, I don't know, the camera, I don't know. But
it says Sim. You've made it say Sim.
Oh, it does. Oh, yeah. I don't know. Wait. I didn't even know. I just realized that. Hold on. Yeah, because I was in the studio. Aha. Wow. So I was sitting the whole time, huh? Well, let me just hide that. It should be gone now. And the Mad Mamluks logo. I just realized that right now. Yeah, okay. All right, cool. Sorry about that, guys. All right. Well, there we go. Half an hour in the video, and we just figured it out. Yeah, but anyways, alhamdulillah, we the English-speaking world need you guys, mashallah. Okay, well, jazakallah khair for being a subscriber. Unfortunately, this video here wasn't about that, but I think this is in line with our values, Ali, where that we wish good for the ummah, and that this is another. It's not always in terms of just like knowledge about other sects like the Shia, but also even Islamic finances, right? Because the hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, want for your brother what you want for yourself, and it's easy for me to sit here and hoard, because think about it. Only 2% of the people in the world own Bitcoins. That means more for me right now if I just don't tell anybody, right? But that's not our motive, right? I mean, we really see a potential here, and I wouldn't be making this video and putting, because this is public now. Me and Ali are going to be forever on YouTube talking about forever. It's locked in that we were on YouTube talking about Bitcoin. So if it goes bad, you can rub it, the dust on our faces because we're here talking about it. But I think we both feel confident enough that Bitcoin is going to be around for a while. You know what I mean?
If it goes bad, we'll all blame Moore. He's the one who got me into it as well.
I got you into. I'll take the blame. I have no problem admitting when I'm wrong, because I've been wrong about a lot of things. I am Moore after all. That's why I have Amr, Sheikh Amr. He's the guy for my redemption. Like he can fix anything that I did wrong. But alhamdulillah, so far we've been good, and I think that's it. But if you guys have any questions, I think we'll kind of wrap it up now. But if you have any final questions, like about real quickly, one or two. Otherwise, you can leave them in the comment section, or you can get at me at Twitter at MortTMM, or you can reach out to Bu Noor. What is it? 90.
Bu_Noor 89.
89. Okay, yeah. All right. I'm sorry. Well, I think 90. I don't know where the guy came from, but yes. You can reach out to him at Twitter, and we can try to help you as the best as we can. We're not financial advisors. We're just crypto enthusiasts. By no means are we experts. We are, certainly just enthusiasts, and we're trying to help you guys also make the little money that we've been making steadily over the past few months. We want that to share that with you and hopefully give you a jump start. So I think you have a question up, Muzzy Buzz. Ask Noor what happened to the Muslim Vibe video. So can you just take a minute? Who's Muslim Vibe? Are they that Shia group that's pretending to be like?
Yeah, pretty much. It's so obvious though. It's like and since our video, so for those who don't know, the Muslim Vibe is a Shiite platform that we released a documentary on, basically showing that they're very, very closely linked with Ahl Bayt TV, which is owned by Mehdi al-Mudarrisi, who's someone who's quite open in terms of his takfir of the Sahaba, propagating hatred for Sunnis. So we released a documentary showing how pretty much everyone who works at the Muslim Vibe used to work for Ahl Bayt TV. And they pretend to be a platform that's somewhat neutral. They put out they have Sunni speakers on there, people like Omar Suleiman, Mufti Menk, but it's clearly a Shiite platform. It's Iranian propaganda. In terms of politics on the website, all they do is criticize Sunni governments. You'll find zero criticism of Iran, zero criticism of the Assad regime. After we put out that documentary, they basically filed a defamation case on YouTube, and the video got blocked in the UK. So you can still watch it, but you need to use a VPN.
VPN.
Yes. But yeah, since our documentary, it's really funny. Like, they've been releasing articles about Imam Shafi'i. It's like, seriously, guys.
Wait. They're releasing who released it?
The Muslim Vibe. They do it all the time. Like, they'll release articles that appeal to Sunnis. It's part of their way to normalize to Shia. So what they do is that they'll release a few Sunni articles to get a Sunni audience, and then they'll start throwing in something.
Right. Yeah. Because a lot of times people today.
It's not
only that, a lot of times today people see one video and they'll subscribe, right? Like, they won't go through all the videos. Like, they'll see one great video and okay, subscribe, right? And they know it's going to bring in a Sunni audience, and that's how they kind of get numbers, because they're able to put their propaganda. But Muslim Vibe, we're onto you. We caught you. We're watching you. Like, you're not gonna be like the Russia Today and like the press TV of America. We caught you. All right, you're right-handed. Mudarrisi, I wish when you mentioned his name, we could insert a random like wailing clip. At that moment. Oh,
you should see TikTok, man. He's become a meme.
Yeah, he's a meme.
That's what you get, man.
I can't even say his name without laughing anymore. Like, I really can't. Like, I remember that montage of him moaning. wait, that montage was made. I saw it somewhere. I don't know where it was, but it's just a montage of him moaning. And every time someone mentions Mudarrisi, I just think about that montage.
So someone made a 2-hour version of putting it on YouTube. What we need to do is do like a reaction video. You know those videos, not a reaction video where you sit through it, and you just got to sit there and listen to the whole thing.
Yeah, and then comment and yeah. Yeah, maybe we will, but yeah, Muslim Vibe, very interesting. I don't know. Maybe we'll talk about that on the Mad Mamluks, because I did talk to Simon. I'm like, yo, we got to make it very clear that Shiitism, the Shia, is not cool. It's not normal. It's not normal to beat yourself. It's not normal to believe in this stuff. All right, it's not normal to believe in imams as greater than Anbiya, like stuff like this, right? So hopefully, inshallah, will bring this up as well. Maybe as a segue to bring this up and say, look, this is kind of their influence, right? They're trying to normalize, their beliefs and ideology by using Sunni characters and nice individuals that don't really want to be they don't want to be I guess combative, or they don't have one confrontation, right? So, inshallah, yeah, we'll deal with that. Let me see this. They are called Muslim bribes. They want to. That sounds good for Sunnah. Yeah, that's a very good comment. Let me see this. Muzzy Buzz, did you mine back in the day? I think I tried to set up a mining rig one time. Or just to test it out on a computer. It just wasn't for me, dude. It's too technical for me. If you want to know about mining, There's a great brother, Abu American. He actually mines. I'm not sure if he's mining Bitcoin, but he is on YouTube, Abu American. But he has videos about mining. He's really into it. So he bought a rig and everything like that too. So you might want to go check it out. But yeah, I'm not really into mining, so I can't help you. Hassan Sabah has left the. Wait, why do they beat themselves? I can volunteer next year. Yeah, I'm gonna make a bad joke here, but I always thought, if you want to, I could just do it better, and the job would be finished one day. I mean, like 1 year done. I mean, it's done. It'll never happen again next year. But they just, I don't know. By the way, can you explain something to me? What is this term that they say, like, when you show off some of the extreme ones beating themselves, Ali, they will say, no, they're not 12ers, they're Malunis or Malanis or something like they have some other different terms like Malunis or Malanis or something.
Malang, maybe.
What? Say it again.
Malang. So maybe. You have in the subcontinent, you've got Malang Shias.
Yes.
Beating yourselves. Okay, so beating yourself like proper self-flagellation. That's not, it's not the majority who do that. However, it is something that major Shia scholars permit, and it is something that happens right next to their holiest shrines. It's sanctified. It's extremely political. You would get a lot of heat as a Shia scholar if you came out and said this is haram, and that's just beating yourself. If you go to our channel, you find major Shia scholars talking about running on fire. It's permissible. Beating yourself with, cutting yourself with knives is permissible. And so there's a difference of opinion. Chest beating, the simple chest beating's common. Most do that, but in terms of like self-flagellation, no, it's not all of them. But this idea that it's just a fringe group and it's just a bunch of Shia extremists, that's a lie. It's
they try
it's
to
not the majority, but it's pretty normal.
Yeah, so I think the extreme one with like a knife going through your kidneys and to your face, and that tends to be more the South Asian like extreme.
Yeah.
Some of the Iraqi ones do too, but generally the one we're talking about when we say beating,
in that part of the world, you get people claiming to be Sunnis doing the same thing.
Yeah. So, but when I say beating, I'm actually referring to the ones where they're sitting there and like they're in unison, they're just like going like this, and they're like boom, like they're hitting themselves.
A chest beating?
Yeah.
Depending on the country, it varies. Some, like if you go to parts of the Arab world, it's more of like a ritualized, chest beating like that. I don't think
you're gonna hate you.
You might get a red chest, but nothing more than that.
You're gonna hate me for this, dude. But
then if you go to like the subcontinent, it's like proper like slapping yourself like really hard. And,
you're gonna hate me for this, but I have to say something. I think one of the reasons why people go to these things is because the Latmiyas are like catchy, bro. Like, I don't know if you've heard them. They're pretty catchy, bro. Like, I mean, they got the beat going on. They're moving around and they're going like this, and like it's actually. And look,
my dad would always tell me that another motivation would just be the women who are there watching. So in Bahrain, you would have these parades where people, they would go and do takbir where they're cutting their heads and beating themselves. And women would just stand and watch. So once they're passing the women, it's topless men. They'll beat themselves harder.
It's like a mating call. Like
it is. No, it is.
Like the monkeys do the jungle. Yeah, but
like after Muharram, that's when everyone gets married.
Yeah, but the other thing is, for me personally, I'm a big fan of like the Iraqi dialect and I mean their music. The way the mawal, and so they have nice voices. They do, right? And like so they it sounds nice. Like I've heard some of them, and I'm like, man, this is catchy, bro. Like I mean, they put a beat behind this, so they could actually get a record contract, right? Like it's really trendy, and they're all in unison. Like, dude, that's perfect timing to do like a strike. Can you imagine? I mean, I've seen some of these videos where it's like a drum bass where everyone at the same time. How do they time this thing, dude? Like it's like everyone's on point. Like they rehearsed it for like months to like strike at the same time, So
for sure, it's a shame when they join congregation to pray. It's nowhere near as in order as that.
I feel like they perfected. Wait, I feel like they perfected the matam. Wait, hold on. I feel like they perfected that strike better than they perfected their prayer. Like they pray, bro, and that's so messed up, but it's true.
For sure.
I don't know, man.
Watch. I'm not just saying this, guys. if you've got satellite TV, turn on a Shi'i channel and watch how they pray in congregation. There's a lot of moving around. There's a lot of looking around, you know. But when they are in these, you know, chest beating rituals, you know, everything's in sync.
Game on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So America says, can't they just have beat battle dances each year? Let's make it fun. I think there are some groups that have taken that step to try and make things more fun. So you've got the whole zombie parades.
Do they call it a beat off? Is that what they call it? No, but you know what? You know who's funny too is that you've caught these even people who claim to be like peaceful people, like Tawhidi, the Imam of Peace. There are clips of him beating himself when he was more extreme in Australia. Like he was beating the crap out of himself.
Yeah.
Like it's just funny. Like there's no even the Imam of Peace is beating himself. So there's not much peace within himself, obviously. But
they do. No, not that they're meant to enjoy it, but the whole like mud bathing, it looks nice, man. Like you can imagine hot summer's day going in like a cool mud pool kind of thing, and they've got the parades, the zombie parades, and
yeah.
There's a video on our channel called
the
lying on all these weird rituals, but they're dancing around. It's as if they're clubbing, you know. There's music and
don't forget Zoltana, the horse, where you get like. It's just great, bro. They have this dressed up horse and armor, and like and they have like the self-beating lion that's, you know, like a morning lion. It's just great. It's the whole like it's a costume party. It's like Halloween. It's great.
I'm here to talk about crypto. I'm not going to talk about what she
I
has
don't know how I got on this. This is funny. Damn you guys. You know, but anyways, you know what? We'll save this conversation for. Yeah, you know, I think what we'll do, Ali, is we'll do another impromptu conversation about the Sharia, like without the academic, so we can just kind of talk about like some of our take on it, like not from an academic perspective, but just as let's say as a layman or someone who's on the outside just looking in. Like I don't mind throwing some compliments, like the Latmiyas are great, you know, but there's some other things I want to talk about which are like, you know, well, you know, just in layman's terms, like without getting too academic. But it just doesn't make sense, and maybe we'll do that at a different time. But look, guys, it's late where Ali is, and we've been here for like an hour and some change. We didn't expect to go this long, but we're gonna wrap this one up. But do me a favor, guys, whoever's listening right now, whoever's listening in the future, please right now just go make sure you smash that like button because it'll help other people see this video. So like it and subscribe if you haven't already. Make sure you go over to Sunnah Discourse and also subscribe to that channel and like the videos. Please like the videos because as you know, there are people that have disliking campaigns, right? And they want to run flag down the videos. YouTube won't do that if you actually like these videos and you share them and people become aware. YouTube is less likely to ban or to, you know, restrict the video. So make sure you guys go over and do that as well as on TMM2 because we pissed off some brothers that are from a different, you know, group, and so they're kind of mad. They've been deflagging. So just all over around, just show your love and support so we can keep doing these videos, inshallah. But I will let Ali have the final word before I wrap this one up.
Yeah, guys, just like I said, the whole point of doing this was to just encourage you guys to just look into it at minimum. Look into cryptocurrencies, invest a little bit of money if you can, just to see where it goes. If anyone needs any help, let me know. Watch those channels that we mentioned, and yeah, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.